I was born in India in 1966, and because in a small village that we have two sections of the village. One is called like main village. They have the farmers, so-called a little bit higher class, and I lived in a small kind of part of the village in this different area. Like we had about 25 houses, and those are all like so-called low cost. And so I went to school. I did my grade 5 in the village. The village has a primary school, and then I did my grade 10 from a nearest village. And after that, I did grade 11 in like non-medical, they used to call like taking science courses. After that, I went to college. It's the Polytechnic College. I did a 3-year diploma in civil engineering. And after that, I got job, like few jobs temporarily, but then I got permanent job with the Indian Army, semi-army. It's called the Border Road Organization. So I worked there about 3 years, and then I got engaged here in Canada. And then after like 92, we got married in 92, and I came to Canada in 1993. And living in my village, Punjab, as I described, we have a separate area, like the low cost. We used to call like a Chamar community, and the other community was the Ramgarhia community. The Ramgarhia community, they had like some land, not too big, but they had like 2-3 acres every person, and they also used to do kind of skilled worker, those people. But my dad, he used to do kind of farming labors, and I also helped my dad farming labor. Being a separate in the community, we used to face some kind of discrimination. Is obviously it's a different part in the same village, and like my dad and my grandparents, they used to they mentioned that they experienced lots more discrimination than my time. My father did not go to school. He did, I think, grade 1 or grade 2. My mother did not go to school, but I had opportunity to go to school at that time because the government changing of the India got independence, and there was a revolutionary Dr. Ambedkar. He just made kind of rights in the constitution. He was the chairperson of the constitution, and he made rights for all the low cost people that they can go to school, and they're able to get jobs as well. So that was lucky at that time to able to go to school and pursue my education career. And and while going to the Polytechnic College, we had a 25% reservation. And if so we had about 120 seats in college, like for 3 trades: electrical, mechanical, and civil engineering. And the general category, they call high cost people there. Actually, the merit started about 85%, and they stopped at the lowest person was 70%, and the reserved seats, they started from 70 downwards. So I was the top on the list. But if there was no reservation and none of the like 25% candidates would have got into the college diploma. So I was lucky to get into because of the reservation. But I did have some experience, like back home, people will make kind of sometimes racist comments, like if going to school, and they say, why are you going to school? Like, what's the point, benefit of for you going to school, right? Eventually you have to work, right? So that kind of mentality. And the people used to make kind of rude comments sometimes. I was intelligent in I would say in my village, I was the top student. Even like 3-4, like even in high school, we had 3-4 like villagers, one called school in 3-4 villages. So I was the top candidate. And then sometimes the parents, the so-called high caste, they used to kind of daunting their children. So how come you are not like somebody else from the low caste can compete you or get better marks? That kind of comments used to get. And also it's even going to college, we used to get a scholarship, like the scheduled caste candidate, like the low caste, because of the poverty, they use special like scholarship. And when we used to go to scholarship, all the scheduled caste students, they will go all at the same time. It's very, very obvious to know for the other people that these people came from like reserve quota, right? So that's why it's very hard to mingle with the general like high caste people. Actually, my wife, she has been living here. She came here in 1981 with her mother and her brothers. And so their family was related to my uncle. So it was kind of, I knew my wife a little bit, but it was kind of arranged marriage. So that was also for better opportunity here in Canada. And even if one person like got job here and like not this job moved here and the parents were able to come, my parents were able to come here, and my brother, couple of my brother was able to come here. That was kind of helped the family like financially. So that was the main kind of reason to better opportunity for the myself and the family. And the reason I start believing in the six scriptures, because of being a Ravadasiya community, we had a revolutionary saint. His name was Ravidas ji. And so his teachings were just that everybody is equal, and he fought for equal rights. And so that's why his teachings are actually, his writings are in the Guru Granth Sahib, is the Sikh scripture. And they call and most to be their guru, living guru. So that's why I actually started believing more and have more faith in Guru Granth Sahib, because it teaches about equality. Guru Ravidas ji, they were, I believe it was 1300 years. And at the same time, there was a Kabir ji, and they're from Dalit community. Both of them at the same time happened, right? So if we read from their writings, they try to explain that we are also human beings. Every human beings are equal. We have equal rights. I think they fought for equal rights, but the people, what they did, they made them as like they had miracles or they had superpowers. So they made them so that everybody cannot fight for their rights. So the high society people, like Hindu society people, Brahmins, they made them they had superpowers. But I don't believe that in that one, because they were strong people, and they had courage to fight against the discrimination. So that's why they are respected in but the history, the history was written by the high class people, because the poor people, they were not they did not have a right to get education, right? So somehow Ravidas ji and Kabir ji, they got some education. I don't know how did that happen, right? So but even the people like from the Rasia communities, they believe they were made to believe that they had superpower. Even Canada, people living here, they still think they had superpower, Ravidas ji. But I think they just fought. They were like what's called the warriors of the community. That's how I think them, right? So that's why when they become part of Sikhism, because the first guru, they call Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Guru Gobind Singh, they all fought for human rights, equality. All their teachings, their writings are equality. The same thing happened with them. They were made that they had superpower. So that's why even the Sikh community, majority of the Sikh community, they believe that they had superpower. But they were like general people, then they were like simple, but they had courage to fight, stand up for the rights and truthful. And they face the consequences of being honest or fight for injustice. Within the Sikh community, they thought, oh, Guru Nanak Dev Ji and up to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they think they have 10 gurus. And even the teachings of Guru Ravidas Ji and Kabir Ji in the Guru Granth Sahib, they still think they were little bit like inferior than the real gurus, like the Guru Nanak Dev Ji's. Yeah, they think because they came from from the low caste people. That's why they don't want to give them like same status as gurus. They think no, then the Gurwani and the Guru Granth Sahib, they call them Pagat. That's why they call them Pagat, and they don't like that calling them Guru. And even though I believe that Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he learned a lot from Ravidas Ji and Kabir Ji. And if you see their writing, they are kind of same. You can tell them they kind of get the concept from Ravidas Ji and Kabir Ji, and they implemented that, right, as a Guru Granth Sahib. And but that's also the root cause of the discrimination. Even the Ravidasiya community, they thought when they got education, Ravidasiya community, because before they didn't even know that much about the Guru Ravidas Ji. They got education because of Dr. Ambedkar. And sometimes the community, they think it's two different personalities, Ravidas Ji and Dr. Ambedkar. Because of Dr. Ambedkar, get education, and that's why they knew about the Ravidas Ji. They started learning about reading the Guru Granth Sahib. That's how they knew that our Guru was from our community. I think same thing kind of from the Ravidasiya community is that they are divided into following Guru Ravidas Ji and Dr. Ambedkar Ji. They are not Janite sometimes on that issues. So that's why it's actually the Sikh community and the Ravidasiya community, they seem each other different, because the Ravidasiya community, they used to go to the same Gurdwaras, they used to get discriminated at the Gurdwaras. And even here in Canada, and that's why they made their own temple. And they still kind of sometimes hike the other Gurdwaras, they make comments why the Ravidasiya community made their own Gurdwara. Because at one time they didn't get the equal rights in their own Gurdwara. Even the Sikh Guru Granth Sahib teaches about the equality was 400 years ago, but the Dalit people, their financial positions or their discrimination didn't happen anything for 300 years, regardless of their written Guru Granth Sahib. It happened only when Dr. Ambedkar and other people that they fought for their rights. They thought, no, we are equal. Then it wasn't only Dr. Ambedkar. There could be many other people that were supporting him. But luckily, the Dalit community was lucky enough because he was the most educated person in the kind of in the world at that time. So that's why he was able to get more rights for their own people. So that's how I think the Ravidasiya community and the rest of the Sikh community, they think they are different, but basically they are not different. Like that's how I think, but that I think there are only very few population that believe the way I believe. And I usually attend like one class, it's called Gurmat Prachar, and most of the people there are from high caste society. I do online with Zoom. And we talk openly about the casteism and how the people were made to believe in the Sikhism in the Ravidasiya community, because that's not the true belief of Guru Granth Sahib. The teaching is totally different than what they believe. They believe they had superpowers, and that's, yeah. And if that was, I think, the high caste, the Brahmin category, they made them to believe that way so that they would not fight for their rights. When there is the Guru Ravidas Ji's annual birth date, I usually give a little speech, 5-minute speech. And at that time, even we had 100 people, 120 people from our community. At that time, people usually from the other community, there will be more people from the other community to come to celebrate Ravidas' birthdays. And I spent about 5-10 minutes to speech to talk about the caste when back home, and then how we are actually lucky to be working towards decreasing that difference. So that's my contribution. Usually every year I do Yeah, I thank the whole community that being they are accepting the other caste people, right, equal. When his birthday comes and we celebrate, right, here in the Sikh temple as well, and then as a community we have about 100, I would say 150 like people, like population, maybe 40 houses that they belong to the same caste. And we try to actually, when there is a program at the Sikh temple, we try to kind of lead that program. And we participate because my father-in-law, he's the member of the Sikh temple. He has been for the last, I think, 25 years. So that's not only one caste temple. It's everybody there, so they respect him. And so when, even though there's the program, the Gravidas, the program, the birth of date of birth, they want us to celebrate, kind of like take a lead, and we tell them, no, you guys should celebrate as the other gurus you are celebrating. We will support, but it should not be considered as it's a separate, like you guys have separate guru. So we try to kind of that me and my wife like take a lead. At the same time, we don't want to show that it's the one community's program. As I said, my father is a member. Like he usually serve in the kitchen, and then also we had the treasurer became from our community, because one time the community was complaining that we don't get our fair kind of contribution in the management. So they asked me many times, the Sikh, actually, whoever the people who nominate the directors, they asked me many times to come as treasurer or even as a president. I said, no, I'm not interested. So it make a big difference when we go there and participate. So it will take time. So I think I'm more optimistic that it will improve, even in Punjab and in India, and people are getting education and educated, and their financial position is getting better. I think it will, especially in Canada, it will get better.